Hi, I'm Steven, and I'm a level 1 chef.
I'm Lorenzo, and I'm a level 2 chef.
Hi, I'm Frank. I'm a chef at the Institute of Culinary Education, and I've been a chef for 24 years.
I've been making nachos for over 5 years now. As most of my stories start, it began with a budgeting issue, and I needed to cut costs immediately. So I decided to start making nachos in-house.
I love me some nachos. I love all types of nachos.
What's the best occasion to eat nachos?
Game day.
Nachos are good any time of day. You should make them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And late night snacks.
So today we're gonna make nachos.
Talk about easy peasy.
And not just nachos, but nachos with purple chips. I like the color purple.
We're gonna start by making our own tortilla chips. First thing we're gonna do with the tortillas is I get a stack.
I'm just gonna cut it right in half, and then I'm gonna do a little cut this way. I'm gonna add garlic powder, onion powder, cayenne pepper, melted butter. There I go with the butter again. I like butter, you guys.
And then we're gonna fry them.
You dip it on both sides. Okie dokie, Finoki, folks. I'm gonna throw this in a 350 oven for about 15-20 minutes.
One thing you look for when you're frying is bubbles. If bubbles aren't coming out, that means oil is getting in and things get greasy. And we just wanna cook these until they're crisp. I always use corn tortillas for this. Flour tortillas tend to get really soggy really quick.
I like flour tortillas.
What we're going for with the corn tortilla is flavor.
I don't really dig the yellow corn tortillas.
The salt will stick while they're hot.
All right, these have been cooked and cooled. They look great. Nice and crispy too.
And that is my tortilla chips.
So the next essential element to this nacho creation would be the beans.
We're gonna make carnitas. I have pork here. It's a pork shoulder or a pork butt.
I personally like using chicken breast.
Chicken tends to be dry.
It's easier to shred. That's why I use a chicken breast, folks.
So you want to grab a pinch of salt,
Some bay leaf, and the garlic. And I just love the combination of orange and pork.
Red bell pepper, green pepper, yellow pepper, just to make it colorful.
I keep it uncovered. This way the beans could breathe, free the bean.
And then we're gonna put it in the fridge and let it sit for at least 4 hours.
Cumin for that delicious Southwest flavor, and cayenne for a little bit of spiciness, along with the red pepper flakes that I have in there already. Then, oh my goodness, passata.
Lard's going into here. Whenever you, believe it or not, cook an animal in its own fat, it tastes really delicious. And I'm just looking for the pork to be kind of fork tender. And we're gonna let this cook for about an hour, hour and a half.
4 hours on high, yep, and start.
Now we're gonna take the black beans and put them into the strainer, get some of that liquid out. Nobody likes soggy nachos. Voila, fresh beans.
And this is what they look like when they're done. I'm not gonna shred this so fine.
So now these have been shredded nicely.
And we're good to go.
All right, folks, I'm about to make my nacho cheese sauce. This is soft, mild cheddar. If you use sharp cheddar, it'll kind of break up.
So I have some Monterey Jack cheese and some sharp cheddar here. Sharper the better, right? A lot of times, people just don't know how to grate cheese. And you're gonna say, Chef, you're crazy. I know how to grate cheese. They get a huge block of cheese like this. This barely fits in my hand, and I have pretty big hands. And they sit there like this and try and grate.
Oh, I like this handy. I need to get one of these.
Wrong way. What I do is this. I turn the grater over on its side, and I push.
We have 2 cheeses, the Mexican cheese, which is already shredded, thank God. And we have the cojita cheese, which is a saltier cheese. It really just crumbles easily, unlike my spirit.
With my butter, flour.
But I find this is the easiest way to grate cheese. And I've grated a lot of cheese in my life.
Ooh, I'm ambidextrous.
The cheesier the better, just like jokes.
Now we are gonna say hello to the cheese.
And that's how you grate cheese.
This is mixing it really nice. There you go. Nachos cheese sauce, folks.
So before we get to the assembly of the nachos, we're gonna talk about our sauces.
We're gonna make avocado crema. This is not traditional at all with nachos, but it's something that I like to do.
It looks like I have the makings of some guacamole.
So we have our guacamole.
I use scallions, cilantro.
You wanna use the widely known beef stick tomato. Beef steak tomato, emphasis on the steak, not stick.
Ooh, this time actually I'm going to be using 2
Jalapeno.
jalapenos.
Because a nacho without spice is not nachos, it's just chips.
I'm ignoring the start of the show here.
And I roll the avocado around the knife, twist.
The only adaptation is I'm not using cilantro. So I'm going to use Italian parsley and I'm going to use some dill.
I'm gonna put a little lime in here.
Am I turning it the wrong way? Should it be like that?
Salt, some water.
And you have a pico de gallo situation.
Okay, I'm going to mash away. Pretty easy. Just use a fork.
So I got a little flexible silicone cup here. This might make it easier to get into my squeeze bottle. Put the lid on, put this in the fridge until we're ready to go.
So we're gonna cut up these vegetables into fine pieces.
Now we're gonna make pickles for our nachos. It's a chef thing, we like to pickle stuff, okay? Get over it. Start out with the brine. Just some white vinegar, plain white distilled vinegar. Some water, salt.
So we have green pepper, red pepper, onions, mushrooms, and broccoli. Broccoli on a nacho, you might say this is crazy talk, but it works. Just, you gotta trust me.
This is a great plum tomato. Plum tomatoes are awesome.
Every time I cut, it's like a close call. All right, so now the red peppers are done. That was my finger.
I use cilantro stems for this. And this is gonna give me a great flavor. I used the butcher twine so that I can fish it out really easily.
As you may notice, I am sporting a new Band-Aid.
Here I have my scallions as a topper. I like the bottom and top.
If you look, there's a layer of onion, a layer of peppers, a layer of onion. I'm gonna throw my cilantro stems in there.
Okay, the true reason that I started using broccoli is because the supermarket around my corner started selling them 99 cents a bunch.
And then I'm gonna cut my peppers on a mandolin. And then we're gonna take these and plop them on top.
Oh yeah, that's nice. Look at that. First time is a charm, second time you're showing off. And
I have a little bit of black pepper. Now my brine is fairly cool, and I'm gonna ladle it over the top and fill my jar.
for the vegetables, you really want them to just cook thoroughly, I guess. You just want to make sure they're not too hard.
And then it goes in the fridge.
It smells like Christmas.
And that's my toppings and my guacamole. Let's go.
The biggest thing when constructing the nachos is to make sure that you grab the cheese and you spread it out evenly.
I know this might look funny to you at first, but believe me, it will turn out just fine. All right, so what I do is I typically get my chips.
A little bit of my Carnitas.
And then you want to add some cojita. So when people say, is that a hint of cojita? You say yes.
I'm gonna do little dollops of my guac here and there.
Don't forget your veggies.
It's almost like we're doing a sandwich of cheese. Cheese on the bottom, cheese on the top.
There can never be enough cheese. Just know that.
So right now you can see it's starting to get brown, and that's what I'm looking for right there. I'm gonna do 2 turns. Turn it over. Turn it over.
Then we take some beans. And now we're gonna put the nachos in the oven for about 7 to 8 minutes at 400 degrees.
This is heaven in a pot right there. That's liquid gold, folks.
So I have my pickled peppers and onions. We want everything. We want the onions. If there's a big chunk of garlic in there, put a big chunk of garlic. A little bit of our crema.
So first we're gonna add our pico de gallo concoction. We put the guac in the middle.
It is raining beautiful fresh tomatoes. And one more fun one at the top.
Salsa verde. And we cannot forget the infamous lime, just to give it that extra oomph. I am very excited to try these nachos because I think this is the best nachos I've ever made.
And this is my chicken fajita nachos.
And these are my griddled nachos. When I dig into these nachos, usually I like to have a nice beer. No beer today.
Oh, that's
So that
good.
chili and crema on there.
There's like cheese in every bite and every nook and cranny. Oh my God, that's so good.
Wow. The chicken fajita mix is so good. These chips add that special, holy smokes, you cared a lot about this food.
You've never had nachos like this before. It's amazing. These nachos are special because most people don't caramelize cheese. And if you caramelize your cheese, I promise you, you will think these are the best nachos ever.
Nachos are a delicious and crispy treat. Let's see how each of our chefs made theirs. Stephen used store-bought hard blue corn chips. These contain blue corn, which comes from various cultivars and is slightly higher in protein than yellow corn and gets its color from anthocyanins.
It's gonna tell you I like the color purple. And the movie.
It may contain high oleic canola oil, water, pre-ground corn, flour, salt, and hydrated lime. High oleic oils are high in oleic fatty acids, which are polyunsaturated, and considered to be good fats because they're reactive in your body as opposed to saturated or trans fats. Hydrated lime sounds like it's the fruity green lime that we may associate with tacos and nachos, but in reality, it's a powdery white chemical that raises the pH of the tortilla mix during processing so that it's more alkaline. Lorenzo used pre-made white flour tortillas that he cut into chips. Flour tortillas are generally more supple than corn because of the gluten in the wheat. He baked them on medium heat for 15 minutes, which dehydrates the tortillas and crisps them.
They look great. Nice and crispy too.
Frank made his chips from corn tortillas. Corn tortillas are made with masa, a finely ground cornmeal, which has gone through the process of nixtamalization. Nixtamalization means treating the corn with an alkaline solution, usually calcium hydroxide, which raises the pH. At an alkaline or higher pH value, the hull or tough outer coating of the corn kernel is softened and more easily removed. It also allows enzymes present in the germ of the corn to act on proteins to make them more easily digested and frees niacin, which is vitamin B3, so that it's better absorbed. This process improves flavor, digestibility, and makes a very pliable tortilla. Frank fried his corn tortillas, which made them very crispy while preventing them from becoming soggy when his toppings were added. Frank seasoned his chips with salt immediately after frying when the salt will stick to the chip the best. There's nothing more delicious than fried salty carbohydrates.
And that is my tortilla chips.
Stephen's protein comes from the beans. Beans are an incomplete protein, so they don't add all of the essential amino acids to his dish. They're missing tryptophan and threonine. However, you can say that he made a type of plant-forward nacho.
Voila. Fresh beans.
Lorenzo cooked his white chicken meat in a crock pot with aromatics like
Red bell pepper, green pepper, yellow pepper.
green bells are not as ripe as the red or yellow ones, but both can come from the same plant. Lorenzo shredded his chicken after 4 hours of cooking. Shredding makes it easy to spread the chicken over the nachos more easily. Lorenzo's chicken is the star of his nachos.
That was my success story.
Frank made his own pork carnitas. His carnitas were marinated with orange for sweetness and slight acidity that tenderized the pork butt, which is really the shoulder of the pig, while it's marinating overnight. It's slowly braised with lard, which is rendered pork fat for about an hour until it's tender.
At this point, you should taste it, of course, because it's pork and it's delicious.
Stephen sauteed broccoli,
Just, you gotta trust me.
onion, green and red pepper, tomato, and jalapeno for spiciness.
Because a nacho without spice is not nachos, it's just chips.
Lorenzo added chopped plum tomatoes, which are oval in shape and have more solids than other varieties. Frank made pickled peppers and onions as a delicious addition to his dish. Pickling is an ancient food preservation technique that still works today.
It's a chef thing. We like to pickle stuff, okay? Get over it.
He combined salt and sugar in water to make a brine and seasoned it with spicy jalapenos. He also added garlic, cilantro, and a bay leaf to season his Spanish onions. Stephen chose a combination of shredded Mexican-style cheese, which is cheddar, with some seasonings like cumin added. Cotija is a cow's milk cheese that originated in Mexico. It's used throughout Mexican cuisine and is a nice addition to Stephen's nachos.
So when people say, is that a hint of cojita? You say yes.
Lorenzo made a cheese sauce. First, he made a bechamel, which is hot milk thickened with roux, which is equal parts fat, in this case butter, and flour. The starch molecules vibrate when heat is added, hydrogen bonds break apart, and water comes with the starch, thickening the sauce. This process is called gelatinization. He then adds in cheddar and ends up with a silky, smooth, rich cheese sauce to pour over his nachos.
Oh, hello, hello. It's so quiet in here.
Frank used cheddar and Monterey Jack. Both melt beautifully. Melting of cheese is a function of water content. More water means easier melting. Stephen put cheese in the bottom of his pan, which will melt when baked and keep the nacho chips from moving around. He then added the nachos, then the vegetables and beans, and topped with more cheese.
There can never be enough cheese.
He topped his nachos with store-bought guacamole and salsa verde. Both taste good, but likely have chemical preservatives in them. Lorenzo made his own guacamole and chose to add parsley and dill instead of traditional cilantro. For some who are genetically predisposed, cilantro tastes like soap, so Lorenzo smartly and culinarily avoided this.
Let's go.
Frank melted cheese, added chips, and more cheese. He topped his nachos with carnitas and pickled peppers and onions and served with an avocado crema. As our chefs have shown, nachos come in a variety of ways based upon personal taste or preference. Whether you're vegetarian, love chicken, or want to go whole hog with carnitas, nachos are a great dish and always a favorite to share.